Okay, so I make this video for the ladies, and what this video is about is something that runs rampant. It's the #1 nutrient deficiency on the planet, and I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms of it and what you can do about it. So I'm going to first read off some of the symptoms. Depression, fatigue, listlessness, weakness, decreased work productivity, impaired learning, ADD, ADHD, developmental delays, poor memory, decreased attention span, increased distractibility, impaired reactivity and coordination, irritability, dizziness, appetite loss, cravings for foods such as ice, dirt, or clay, constipation, difficulty swallowing, joint soreness, nighttime leg cramps, aka restless leg syndrome, asthma, sores on the skin, poor wound healing, excessive menstrual bleeding, hair loss, headaches, sore or burning tongue, soreness in the corners of the mouth, brittle, flat, or spoon-shaped nails, longitudinal ridges in the nails, heart palpitations on exertion, shortness of breath, cold extremities, tendency to have recurrent infections, chronic bladder infections, anemia, hypochromic, microcytic, paleness, weakness, drowsiness, fatigue, numbness and tingling, night sweats, fragile bones, growth impairment in children, eye soreness, vague gastrointestinal symptoms, belching gas, nausea, vitiligo, swelling in the ankles, bluish tint to the eyes, visual disturbance, papilledema, and then problems with detoxifying heavy metals. All of these things are related to low iron, and it is the #1 nutritional deficiency on the planet. And even in the United States of America, which is a rich country, iron deficiency is very, very common, especially among women. And it has to do with two major factors. Factor one, you're not eating foods that contain iron. So if you don't eat, the #1 source of iron is organ meats, especially liver. Not a lot of people eat liver anymore. Back in the old days, it was liver and onions, and you probably have a grandfather or grandmother and they ate that all the time. Well, guess what? That's a fantastically healthy dish, and it has a massive amount of iron that is very absorbable. The animal products, they contain heme-based iron, which is attached to a protein, and your body absorbs that much, much better. Iron is absorbed up to 35% from liver, and then far less from vegetables. So animal products, and these would be muscle, okay, so those are the best. And then you have your greens, your lentils, pistachios, spell that thing, nuts, seeds, molasses. Okay, so you're talking up to 35% absorption, 2 to 8%. With greens, if you're going to eat greens for a source of iron, you need to cook them. So you lightly fry, put them in some coconut oil, put them in some butter, lightly fry it, cook it, because the absorption goes way up. If you eat just raw, a lot of times you can't digest that and you can't absorb it, especially if you have low stomach acidity, which is really, really common nowadays. Low stomach acidity will prevent you from absorbing and assimilating things that you eat. So these types of things, much less bioavailable, much more bioavailable. One of the things that blocks iron absorption are dairy products, coffee, teas, the tannins in the teas, a couple of other things too. Let me get my list. Soy proteins, the teas, bran foods, especially things that have phytic acid, high fiber diets, and taking other nutritional supplements at the same time. So if you're taking an iron supplement, specifically ferrous sulfate, which is a terrible iron supplement to take, it almost never works and it causes a lot of gastrointestinal problems. It's going to be made worse if you're taking calcium, phosphorus, manganese, chromium, magnesium, zinc, nickel, cadmium, etc., because they're all carried on one of the same proteins called ferritin. So you want to take, if you use iron supplements, take them at a separate time than all of your other supplements. Ideally, you want to take them with something acidic. So orange juice, lemon juice, something like lemon water will increase your absorption much better. Take it at a separate time altogether from everything else, including your medication, especially even a thyroid medicine. Don't take that at the same time. One of the things that you're going to notice about this, when you start to get your iron levels up, your complexion will change, your energy will change dramatically, and the things that you complain about, like restless legs, they're iron deficiency symptoms. So when somebody says, "Oh, I had that restless leg syndrome," first thing I say is, "Well, you probably have iron deficiency." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm always kind of low." Well, fix that. I mean, you got to do something about that. People who run the risk of having iron deficiency, it's typically women, but it's also athletes. So if you're exercising a lot and doing a lot of sweating, women who have heavy menstrual flow, menstrual cycle, they will have problems. Pregnancy, people who crash diet, vegetarians, people with kidney failure, elderly people, people who donate blood all the time, people who have gastrointestinal disorders such as low stomach acid, celiac disease, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or removal of intestines or anything. Also, if you're on a blood thinner, aspirin, for example, will thin your blood and cause some bleeding. You'll lose blood when you take aspirin. So you need to take consideration of this. And then people who have hypothyroidism also tend to be anemic and have low iron and low ferritin levels. Now, there's a more extensive video that I've made about this, but for the sake of this, one of the things you need to know is you need to consume adequate iron. You need to have good blood work. So when you go and have your blood work done, make sure that the ferritin level is checked. Not just your hemoglobin, not just your hematocrit, but actually ferritin. And if you're having problems, if this is a known problem, ask to run total iron binding capacity, TIBC. And that's going to tell us a lot more about what's going on and what you can do to improve this. So if this is a problem for you, hit this video back. Ask me some questions and I'll give you some answers, either privately or in the chain of the comments on the videos. Okay, thank you, and look out for iron. It's really important.